All right, let's write some code so that notification can take messages off this queue. So currently we have one message that needs to be processed. So within IntelliJ, let's together open up the notification module and let's create a new package, and I'm going to call it RabbitMQ. And inside, let's have a class called notification and then consumer. Press enter. And this will be at and then component, or we could even say at service. So there we go. And what I'm going to do is have a method. So public void and then consumer. And within this consumer, I'm going to consume the notification and then request. So notification request. And let me put this full screen. There we go. And inside, what I'm going to do is, for now, let's just say private final and then notification service. So there we go. Notification service. And let's have the at all our constructors. And let's also have the at and then SLA for J, so that we can log in here. And here I'm going to log the fact that we consumed the message. So here, and then consumed from, and then queue. So after we log, let's also basically save. So notification service dot, and then we want to basically send, right? So pass the notification and then request. So you've seen this method before. So if I click on it, you've seen this method right here, which we're not using, Twilio nor any other API such as Firebase, but we're just directly storing this into the database. So now that we have this, and also I need to pass notification request in here, and there we go. So one last thing that we need to do is to say at and then rabbit, and then listener. Now the listener here takes, so queues, so we have to pass queues, and this queue will come from, so if you remember correctly, in our notification config, we have this right here. So rabbit mq.queues notification. So let's just take this, Control C, go back, and then we're going to pass the exact same thing. So there you go. Now, from the moment I start this application, this should immediately be invoked because we have a message in our queue. So remember this message right here. So if I click on queues again, have a look, we have one which is ready. So if I start the application, or if I restart the application, then immediately we should consume that message. So let's check it out. So what I'm going to do is let's stop notification for a second. There we go. And let's put a breakpoint in here. Now let's start notification, but in debug mode. So debug, and hopefully we should stop at this breakpoint because we've got a message in the queue and this listener will pick it up. So there we go. Fingers crossed, everything works fine. And ta-da! So I think this is it. So if I collapse, there we go. We've stopped in here, and what is going to process is the message that was on the queue. Have a look. So you see we had one message which was ready, but now it's basically gone. The listener has consumed it. So if I resume, so let me just remove the debug, resume, and in here, let's just go to console. Have a look. It did insert to the database, which is good. And we have a 200 status code if we try to send the request, which I'm going to show you in a second. So here, so let me just basically keep this breakpoint again, but if I reload, so what I want to show you is if I reload or restart, so this should not hit this breakpoint because there is nothing to be consumed at this point. And there we go. So you can see that it's actually starting and it's never going to hit this breakpoint because there is nothing to be consumed. If I go back to the management console, have a look. So now it's actually 0. And let's basically send a request from customer all the way and test the flow. So if I open a Postman and then send this request, there we go. And this brought me right into this breakpoint because there is a new message to be consumed. So here, let me just say continue or resume, and off you go. In here, we have a 200 status code, which means that it worked. If I check the queue, there is nothing inside. So it's been consumed already. Now let me remove the breakpoint. And let me send the request again. Send 200 status code. And you can see that we can keep on sending requests. And if I go back, go to the logs, you can see that we have a bunch of inserts in here and our system is working beautifully. So there we go. We've managed to do it. So all I want to show you also is have a look. I think, yeah. So the consumer in here, you can see that we have a bunch of messages saying consumed, notification, ID 4, ID 3, 2, so on and so forth. So there you go. We've managed to do it.